Welcome and thank you for tuning in to this episode of the podcast. Evidently, you're unaware. I am none other than your host, the successful diva, Andrea, coming to you, yes, with another topic, issue, person, something that is going to elevate your awareness so that you have a better understanding of what's going on. And I do believe with understanding, you can make better decisions. There are things that we must pay attention to in order to help move our city, our state, our country forward and out and away from what we are seeing today. So without further ado, let's get smarter. Insolvent. There are many, I would surmise, that may not know what that word means. Doesn't mean anything. Don't make it, be a big deal or not, because that's why I'm here. We're going to talk about it. Now, after today, you should know what that word means. So insolvent, there are many fiscal hawks that are declaring that the United States is indeed insolvent. So what does it mean? It simply means this. Insolvent is a financial state where an individual or organization can no longer meet their debt obligations to creditors as they become due, or when their total liabilities exceed their total assets. And instantly, one of the words that might come to mind when you think liabilities have taken the place or they've exceeded the amount of assets, you may think that's, bankruptcy. And sometimes we can maybe, if you know of these two words, think they're one and the same, but they are not. And we're going to get smarter in that regard as well. But nonetheless, not all solvent parties are bankrupt, because insolvency can be resolved informally through debt restructuring, negotiating with creditors, or simply increasing cash flow. Bankruptcy, on the other hand, involves trustees, asset liquidations, like you would do if you filed Chapter 7, or restructuring, which is used with the term Chapter 11 or 13. In the restructuring process, that provides an automatic stay. So the debt kind of holds static while protecting the debtor from creditors. And so what does that mean? What happens when we experience, or someone, a company experience insolvency, but yet not bankruptcy, or vice versa? So let me explain that. Insolvency is a condition. It's the state in which you cannot pay debts when due, or simply put, liabilities exceed assets. Bankruptcy is the solution to that insolvency. So it's the legal court-ordered process to address that state of affairs. While all bankrupt individuals are insolvent, not all insolvent individuals are bankrupt. And that is simply put, when you are insolvent, you may somehow increase cash flow and you can come out of that condition. It may be temporary because your assets may eventually succeed your liabilities once again. But when you need a solution, bankruptcy is that solution. And so what happens when we place a 34 count, let's say, convicted felon as the chief operating officer, executive officer, and all of that of the country, where fiscal hawks have declared we are insolvent? What happens? Well, this is what happens. While millions are going without or losing health coverage, while the price of gas per gallon is at a cost that's really exceeded well beyond what we have not seen in decades, literally while sanctions are being lifted off of countries which are enriching their wealth off of our dime, while there's no clear objective end in sight to a war, which, by the way, we did not ask for, nor was it given and granted permission by Congress, but those who benefit from it most wanted it. And so here we are. While the cost of eggs is still high, and while a few, and let me say this very, very loosely, while a few of the 77,303,573 people claim they did not vote for this While all of that is happening, fiscal hawks are saying we are insolvent. And so that brings me back to the 34 count convicted felon. While he's never filed for personal bankruptcy, his businesses have filed for Chapter 11 protection 6 times between 1991 and 2009. These filings allowed his entities, primarily casinos and hotels in Atlantic City and New York, to restructure debts. That's what Chapter 11 allows one to do, restructure. While investors and lenders often lose money, he himself, Trump, the 34 count convicted felon, maintained personal wealth and management fees. These are some of those named, well, these 6 times. You see the hotels there, casinos, again, in New York and across the country. Ultimately, Atlantic City in New York, but he's used the system. So although when recognizing that he was insolvent, meaning debts exceeded assets, he used the solution that is legally allowed. Chapter 11 came from under that debt, protected the other assets, restructured it in a way that he continued on. And this is before he became president the first time of the United States of America. And so we have to be confident and sure, ladies and gentlemen, what is happening when we say the term insolvent and when fiscal hawks start raising the alarm that we are as a country insolvent. And this could be the reason why they're doing so is this. As of early 2026, assets in the United States were around 6 trillion. That's 6 trillion with a T. Liabilities totaled approximately 39 trillion with a T. Yes, that's a big number. And as you can see, it, for the most part, fits the definition. I won't deep dive in this episode. Save it for another time of intra-government debts versus what we owe to outside creditors. But that 39 trillion is comprised of all of it. And it is a upside down model. And it's one that historians and those who are fiscally sound are saying we've not seen since World War II. That means they are sounding the alarm as to what we cannot continue to see happening. Because who's going to pay for that? Certainly not the one that's gotten immunity and all the other protections surrounding him. It's going to be, you guessed it, you, I, and probably most of the middle to lower class. So here we are in an insolvent, for the most part, insolvent state, 6 trillion in assets, 39 trillion in liabilities. And at the end of the day, while all of that's happening, the United States Department of Treasury is officially accepting voluntary public donations, specifically intended to reduce the national debt, so they say. Somehow or another, something tends to make me want to believe that this administration kind of doesn't really care about the 39 trillion or if that number gets higher. But the United States Department of Treasury wants us to believe that, and they are accepting donations so that we, who didn't ask for all of the debt and the things that are incurring that make that number rise, that we are now going to voluntarily donate to reduce the national debt. Imagine that. And here we are. Ultimately, the audacity and the things that we've seen out of this administration probably shouldn't even shock or make anything stand on your head at this point, because they've proven that they will do whatever is necessary, A, to retain power, or B, to secure their own wealth or their own bag, as we say. So right now, in closing, the 34 count convicted felon is running this country as he has in any other business venture that he's taken a part of. And that's probably at the end of the day, what this really boils down to is yet another business venture, except he's just got access to more wealth and or tools that give him access to that wealth. And let's not forget the enablers who allow it. So as I close, be sure, tune in Don't remain ignorant. Share and sound the alarm. There are things happening, and that means you should point your attention to the people who are seeking office, who want to help turn and guide our local, state, and country back to a direction. And I won't even say go back. We need to really progress and move forward. We need those persons in office who can do that. And certainly, if you are unsure, you should reach out to Andrea at strategicblueprint.info. That is my email. Be sure to like and subscribe on my channel. Ultimately, you see it there. Evidently, you're unaware. I wanted to just like, oh, the ticker's coming on and that's coming on. Things are happening technologically sound, but it's okay. It's all good. Subscribe. If you've not followed me yet, you heard the YouTube channel there. It is there for you. And follow me on Blue Sky at thesuccessfuldiva.bsky.social, on TikTok as well at EYU Podcast. I appreciate you. May all that you do today be for your elevation and your growth. Share this podcast with someone. Let's make sure we can help. Maybe not through public donations, but we can certainly go out, turn out the vote, and be sure we install those persons that are looking to not take this country totally under, but yet help each and every one of us be better. God bless.